Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening? Welcome to another edition of The Player and the Fan. I am yours truly, David Noel, the player, the coach. And we have our beautiful esteemed colleague, Miss Quierra. Miss Quierra, what's happening, girl?
I'm good today.
And oh my man, hold on, I ain't finished with my introduction because there go Jack.
Oh, they talking about my hair. Yes, here's Jack. He always comes every time he hears your voice. I swear to God, he starts trucking over here.
Hey, tell him he a part of the podcast too. Hey, The Player and the Fan, we got a dog too. Yeah.
When I sit at this bar, here he comes.
Love it, love it. What's been happening? What's going on with you?
Nothing, but you had a birthday.
I did.
Happy birthday.
I did. I so appreciate you. A year older, a year wiser, definitely blessed and you know, highly favored. So thanks to everybody out there who sent me birthday love and the people who sent it a day late and you know, all that good little stuff, belated stuff. But I so appreciate y'all. Thank you for the birthday love.
You're welcome. I hope it was a good day, a good Saturday. Well, it was a good Saturday.
It was a great Saturday.
Yeah.
It was a great Saturday.
Yeah.
I told y'all. Listen, so let's just get to it because my heels beat Florida State, which let's be honest, nobody thought we could do.
We didn't think it would happen.
I will say this. I personally, anytime, because my birthday is in February 27th to be exact. So normally it's in basketball season. Normally we playing around this time. I've never lost a game on my birthday throughout my career. And my favorite teams, anytime they play on my birthday, they always win.
Well,
so
why did we know this before? You should have said this the last podcast.
You honestly,
you want to jinx it.
I wasn't. You said what?
You want to jinx it.
There you go. Because I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was a little nervous. You know, a little streak gonna come to an end, but they came through for you, boy. And at one point, it looked real shaky now.
Listen.
I was like, oh my goodness. Listen. It looked bad. But they came through for you, boy.
They did. You had four Heels that finished in double figures. Walker Kessler with 20 points. You had RJ Davis with 12, Kerwin Walton with 13, Caleb Love with 12. The first time in Carolina history that 4 UNC freshmen finished in double figures. First time ever, 2021.
So, two things.
Okay.
I was very, very, very excited for Walker Kessler.
Yep.
But I was still a little nervous with Caleb. Man, they just again, a lot of his shots are tough. But I need him to, and I don't mind it because again, if he could do what he did against, I don't care if all his good games are against Duke. That's fine with me. But I really do wish that his shooting percentages, his shots just start to fall for him, man, because if we have any hope in this tournament, it's gonna fall on his shoulders. Yeah. Him, RJ, Kerwin got to shoot. I think he's hitting that freshman wall right now, which is, you wish you would have hit it a little bit earlier, but I'm hoping that all of those things can kind of, go out the back door. But we'll see what happens when it comes tournament time.
Yeah, I was surprised. No, I wasn't surprised. I'm happy they won this game. It was a well-needed win, and I do think that. Do you think the sixth man had anything to do with it? Because this was the first time fans were able to participate in Carolina, and according to the moms on Twitter, it was a relief to finally have other people cheering, and it felt almost normal again.
Yeah, absolutely, and it just goes to show you how real home court advantage can be. Like, and that's probably one of the things that I because again, at the Carrier Dome, we go up to Syracuse and we drop one. If it ain't no fans in the stands, that's a possible win. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just think it goes to show you that how important the fans are to the game of basketball, how important they are to home court advantage, and anything can happen when you got that crowd behind you. You playing, because again, when you playing in the empty gym, you're like, dang, I'm out here. One of the things that my uncle taught me, and God rest his soul, my Uncle June, A&T legend, MEAC Hall of Famer, HBCU. He was like, every time he walked in the gym, he used to look at the crowd. And he always used to say, look at all these people here to see me put on the show. And I'm like, oh, that's tough.
Yeah, it is.
So I adopted that mentality, especially on the road. Like on the road, I adopted that mentality crazy. So like some of my bigger games came on the road, but when you do walk into a building and it's empty, you're like, ain't got nobody to play for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're on TV, yeah, like you but it ain't the same as playing in front of somebody. It's like you at the playground and the chicks walk on the ground. You like, oh, here I go. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You got a reason to play. And so I think it just goes to show you how important the fans are. But to outscore them 20 points in the second half, like it was a phenomenal win. And again, on my birthday, so I was excited.
But like you said, Carolina then turned around on Monday and dropped to Syracuse. They put on a much better second half than they did in the first. You had three Hills that finished in double figures, Armando Bacot with 18, Garrison Brooks with 11, and Caleb Love with 10. And everybody else, RJ Davis came
later
9, but everybody was kind of quiet. Are those turnaround games, can they have a significant impact on being fatigued? You're traveling, and you don't really get to rest. Your face is like, no. I just see no in your face. It's just, It just dropped it. Okay. I was trying to find an excuse there. I think that's a quick turnaround to play at home and then to wake up Sunday, have to fly out and go play on Monday. Okay, no, it's not working.
No. Like again, for me, it wasn't like it was. They didn't go up there and lay an egg. Like they didn't get blowed out. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a close, but they had 20 turnovers.
They did.
That's the game. That's the game. You can't, and it's a 2-point game. You give away 20 possessions. Like, come on, man. Like you can't have 20 turnovers.
Yeah, they had 21 turnovers against Florida State.
Yeah, and again, like that didn't bite them that time. Like again, so like there are going to be mistakes in the game of basketball. Nobody is ever going to play a perfect game by far. I promise you that. Like so, but the key of it is to limit those so that you don't have to dig yourself out of this hole. Because again, if you can cut that down 5 possessions. If you give North Carolina 5 more possessions, you're probably gonna score 3 out of those 5.
Yeah.
But like when you have that many turnovers, like it's tough to dig yourself out of holes. And so for the Florida State game, it didn't bite them. But for the Syracuse game, it did bite them. So just like I said last podcast, we are being consistently inconsistent, but we're being consistent in turning the basketball over. Like we gotta stop doing that. Like we gotta stop doing that. If we have any hope to make any type of run in the ACC tournament or in the NCAA tournament, like we gotta protect the basketball. Because if you give North Carolina 3 more possessions, they beat Syracuse by 5, 6, 7, 8 points.
Yeah.
Because let's say they had 20 turnovers, you cut that down to 15. They probably score 3 out of those 5 possessions. So like it's a whole different ball game. And now you take away the points that Syracuse probably got off of those turnovers. Like it's a lot, but the game of basketball again would never be perfect. But at the end of the day, the key is to not turn the ball over so much. And we got to learn that ASAP.
well, we only have one more game left of the season. Carolina plays Duke University tomorrow. It is definitely Thursday.
Not,
Thinking it's Friday. I'm ready for
yeah.
WandaVision. That's why.
Sorry.
They play on Saturday at 6 p.m. You know, I have been a little I've been feeling some type of way about Carolina and Duke playing at 6. Like, why is this not a prime time game? I'm used to this being a 9 o'clock game. They got us all early at 6 o'clock. Like, I feel like that's a slap in the face. No? Okay. Just me.
No.
Okay.
Because sometimes the game, especially on Saturdays, the games are earlier. The crazy part about it is if it's on a Wednesday night, it'll be at 9 o'clock. Right. But on Saturdays, they play it a little bit earlier. It gives us time to, when we beat them bums, to go out and celebrate.
Ain't no video.
Hopefully they don't do that this time.
No video this time.
Right.
What else? Carolina leads the all-time series against Duke 140-114. And Carolina is 64-37 in Chapel Hill against Duke. This is the first time neither team is ranked in the AP poll in consecutive games since 1955. And yeah, we have fans. Duke hasn't had fans all year. I think this plays a big part. There is no Jalen Johnson, but like you said, Matthew Hurt has been playing out of his mind. He definitely better leave this season. What do you think about Carolina versus Duke on Saturday? And does this feeling ever get old? Does the anticipation of Duke get old?
It doesn't. It doesn't. And because it is a true rivalry. Like, no matter, again, you saw it last year, no matter how bad whatever team is, bro, for that game, it's going to be, I don't know what it is in the water. It's going to be something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to go into overtime. It's going to, like last year, we were supposed to beat them. And it ended up not happening. This year, you would have thought that they were a little bit better. It just didn't happen. So, like, and now both teams are unranked for back-to-back games, and like you said, forever. Like, but the anticipation of the game is always gonna be there. North Carolina fans gonna talk their junk. Duke fans gonna talk their junk. We gonna be there. Win, lose, or draw. Duke fans gonna get a little ghost. Win, lose, draw. But nonetheless, that's how it is, man. But it's a true rivalry. The greatest rivalry in college basketball, easy. And again, the feeling never gets old. Luckily, this time you will have a few fans in the stands. Mm-hmm. They'll be able to kind of cheer us on the victory. And hopefully it's a. I hope it ain't no good game. I hope it's a blowout. But at the end of the day, again, like I just said, it always seems to carry its form of drama somehow, some way.
Yeah, I mean, you have two teams coming into Chapel Hill off of losses, Carolina with Syracuse, and then Duke, who lost to Georgia Tech in overtime at Georgia Tech. So you have two. I don't think Carolina is as desperate as Duke, because Duke definitely needs this win to kind of solidify their chances for a postseason run. But
and that's another thing too. Like, I don't think Duke, like, unless Duke goes on like a run, they beat us, they win, like they probably get to the championship game of the ACC tournament. That's the only way I feel like they get in the tournament. Like, I seen something the other day where Duke was on like the first 4 out. Mm-hmm. Michigan State was on like the first one. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, these teams don't deserve to be in the NCAA tournament. Like, what is going on? And again, but it just goes to show you how the fan bases. Yep. Like, will always keep you, oh man, Duke trash this year. Man, we can't not have them in the tournament. Let's give them, just like us last year. I felt like if we would have won one more game in the NCAA tournament, we'd have been on the bubble too at 5-12 because of our fan base and because how much money that's going to generate. Them jokers would have considered putting us in. It's like the year that Trae Young was at Oklahoma. Like, Oklahoma ain't have no reason being in that tournament.
Yes.
And they put him in because of Trae Young and his following. So,
Yes.
Like, it's nuts. But at the end of the day,
good example.
NCAA is about that money, bro. So Michigan State, Duke, they always got a shot.
Yeah, that was a good example. I remember that. It's also senior day, and you have three seniors, one redshirt who is Kenny Smith, Andrew Play, Ted Garrison Brooks, and Walker Miller are all. This is their senior day on Saturday, and it's good that they'll have fans there to kind of close out a crazy 2 years at Carolina. Yeah, as a graduate of North Carolina, what do you say to seniors as they prepare for the real world?
Shoot, I thought for the real world,
Did you go to sleep?
like at all, because I thought you were gonna say like, what do you say for the game? I had that.
No,
like,
the real world.
I don't know what the like, but it. Listen, there's nothing that's going to prepare you for the real world except the real world. That's it. Like whatever you've learned in your college years at the University of North Carolina, whether it's, time management, whether it's, how to be a man or whatever the case may be, whatever you've learned, you gotta stay true to that. Stay and do the best that you can with whatever you've learned over the last 4 years, because this world is gonna whoop that ass. Like there's nothing like it. You can't compare it. Like when we were younger, we couldn't wait to be grown. I can't wait to be grown. But you ain't realize all the responsibilities that were being hid by your parents that you have now, like paying rent and having to mow the lawn and all that kind of stuff. Like where I'm from, I ain't have to mow no grass because I was in the hood. They came and did that for us, every like 2 years or something. Like, and most of the time we ain't even have no grass. So, you know what I'm saying? So like I ain't know nothing about that until I was an adult. And that those are one of the things that, you kind of get slapped in the face with. But at the end of the day, like you learn and you grow. And again, I think the 4 years that you're in college, they really help you figure out who you are as a man. But the 4 years after college are probably the most important, because then you're learning what the world is really all about. And then hopefully, again, you could take what you've learned over those last 8 years total and put it in play.
All right. Now, what do you have for game time? What do you say to these seniors as they close out their final home game, their final game of the season? Yeah. How do you
just go play? Go play. Treat it like every other game. As a guy who on his senior night scored I want to say I had my career high. I just went out there and played though. Like I knew the starting lineup was gonna be a little different. So I knew that from jump, what we needed to do was hold on. Just hold on. and then, once our horses came in, and that's no slight to our seniors at the time, with me, Byron, Will, T, like there's no slight to them. But at the same time, it was like, all right, just hold on. Coach gonna let us rock for about 3 minutes, 2 minutes, depending on how ugly it get. But luckily, I started hot and I stayed hot, and I just played. I was kind of sick. It was a blowout because I was trying to get to 30, and Coach took me out. I was sick. Okay. Sick.
Yeah. So Carolina plays Duke on Saturday at 6 p.m. in Chapel Hill. And hopefully it'll be a win for Carolina. Moving on to news around the league, NCAA, and more. David, there's a new league coming up to take another shot at the NCAA and their billions. Overtime is a media company that highlights high school athletes, mainly in America, but they do highlight people all over the world. They are starting a league called Overtime Elite that is providing $100,000 to 16 and 18-year-olds who will skip high school and college to exclusively play in their league. They are looking at putting the league in one city with the teams and the families, so everybody in one happy place. And they'll be providing health and dental insurance. And if the kids do decide they don't want to go professional and decide to go to college, they will give them up to $100,000 in tuition. What do you think?
So when they say they don't want to go pro and they're going to give them $100,000 towards tuition, like the fact that they've been paid, eliminates them from playing college basketball.
You know what? I know it. I did think about that. But if you're not gonna go pro, so, why even go play basketball at all in college?
That's my point. So like that's a little wrinkle in there that sounds good, because if you're elite, as they're saying, it sounds good to, yes, for your junior and senior year of high school, come and play in my league. But for your junior, and you can make $100,000 a year, right? Okay, so for 2 years, you made $200,000, but now that eliminates you completely from being able to go play college basketball. So the $100,000 as far as tuition to a college, that just means, okay, do you want to go get your education? It's not that you can go and play college basketball no more. But if you're elite, then 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go pro. So that $100,000 that they saying they're gonna give,
I get it. It's just
they're gonna pocket that. Yeah, they're gonna pocket that. That's a nice little twist though. That was cute how they tried to throw that in there. But
so then my question, because I just thought about it as you said it. Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. So they also have to be banking on the rule that you have to go to college first or to the G League in order to get into the NBA, right?
They are still banking on that. They got to be.
Because you have to go a year
because
in college
if
or
you're
go to
elite,
the G League to go to the NBA. But if you're going to overtime,
right. And so I think the piece, even if I just think the league may be watered down, you won't get the elite of the elite. You see what I'm saying? So like the elite of the elite this year, they went to the G League. The other elite, they went to college. And so you'll still have that fine balance of jokers going to the G League, jokers going to college. And again, this is as long as the rule is still in place.
Yeah.
Jokers going to the G League, jokers going to college, and then they'll get what is left over, so to speak. And so now you ain't necessarily getting the 5 stars. You might get 1 or 2 of them. Because if you ain't gonna go to the G League, why would you go and play there? Is it for the money? The G League pay more.
I thought the G League was only offering $50K.
No.
Oh,
Jalen Green contract was for $400,000.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't know why I was.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to edit that part out.
Jonathan's like, yeah, they.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's for big bread.
Okay, so then I wonder. Well, so then now the NCAA has surpassed the name, image, and likeness. You have to start benefiting from this because you're going to have these leagues start popping up and threatening everything.
Yeah, the reason why I like it is because it is going to break up the monopoly of the NCAA. The NCAA is going to have to react to this. And so that's why I like it more than the actual, I guess, whatever they have laid out, because you can shoot holes through all of that. But the fact that people are trying to do this is screaming to the NCAA, hey, y'all better tighten up.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, we're going to start snatching your players. And we're going to start paying these kids like y'all. So I do think it is putting pressure on the NCAA to break up the monopoly that they have on these student athletes. And it also gives them a reason to, again, start paying these kids, even more so than the name likeness thing. We talked about it last podcast with the being able to get a sponsorship. Mm-hmm. If it's in line with the school and all that kind of stuff. So there I think there are going to be so many more things to the table that athletes are going to be able to benefit from over the next few years, where the NCAA is going to definitely have to change a lot of the things that they are doing and have been doing for years and years.
So
transfer of power, baby.
So if Knox wants to play ball and he comes across this opportunity, would you let your sons play for overtime? Because overtime, even though you're forfeiting your high school and college education, they will help you get your high school diploma. And they will have professionals there to help you still develop, because you're still a kid. So what do you say to your son if he gets his opportunity to go play for overtime for $100,000, or the G League comes knocking, or go to college? What do you choose as a father who's experienced a little bit of everything? I feel like.
Right. So for me, it would really all come down to like how talented my son is and how much he needs to be pushed.
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because I think the G League is really, really good. I do think that they can learn the NBA game in the G League. They learn the rules. They get a chance to develop. They get a chance to play against pro guys versus, and you get paid a little bit more.
Yeah.
And the initiative that they have down there as far as the educational part of it is really, really good. You're preparing these kids for the real world.
Right.
Education in college isn't preparing these kids for the real world. Right. So I'm not going to be the guy that kind of pushes my son. Oh no, you gotta go to college. I told mine already. You ain't going to college to work for nobody. You going to college because I need you to gain the knowledge to build generational wealth. And guess what? You ain't got to go to college for that. So if you can gain the knowledge to build generational wealth through the game of basketball, then by all means, I'm with you. I'm gonna ride that train with you, and I'm gonna try to help you avoid the pitfalls, the speed bumps, or whatever the case may be that come along the way that Daddy had to endure. That maybe I can protect you from. I ain't gonna be able to protect you from everything, but at the end of the day, if I can protect you from three or four punches, then I've done my job. And then the rest of it, you got to fight. You got to fight for yourself.
You're right. So a big thing is that, that we haven't spoken about before we go to our next topic is if this fails, and I don't want to speak it, onto I see their vision, but this is going to take millions and millions and millions of dollars. Even if you just have, just 20 kids, just millions and millions of dollars to make this a reality. Even if you do like for 2 years, that's a lot of doggone money. Not talking about, the telecasting it, how you sponsor it, and the social media that's going to come with it, and the people you have to hire. It's a lot of money that goes into this. And if this fails, the amount of kids that are left in limbo, because not only, you're 16 and it failed and you're 17, now you can't play high school ball. You can't go back to high school and play ball. And like you said, you forfeited your chance to play college. So now you're just stuck.
Right.
So
yeah.
So
that's where the 100,000 comes in for the education.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's more like a safety net for the kids who take this opportunity.
I couldn't risk that. I couldn't risk it. I couldn't risk being I would have to wait maybe, but even at that point, you're too old. 6 years. 6 years, if this is solid, during year 7, absolutely. But I couldn't be the kid that's a guinea pig for this experiment. And in the 2 years it fails and I'm 18 and out. And there's nothing.
Why not? If you're elite.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with your skill set and everything to do with putting your career on the weight of someone, on the shoulders of someone else. Because if this fails, you forfeit high school and college. That has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with there not being enough money. Nothing to do with
right. So when you say if it fails, like what do you mean?
I'm talking about the league.
Okay.
If the league, you know, in year 2 says, you know what, we don't have any more money. We can't fund this anymore, so we have to shut it down. Then you as a kid, yeah, you got your 100K, but now you forfeit high school and college ball and you can't play either. So now you have to go overseas and play ball. Yep. I mean, not saying that that's a bad thing, but you know, if your dreams are go, you know, to be in the NBA, they're shot because, you know, you invested.
That's not again. I don't think that that it's shot, so to speak. Now, does it put a ding in it? Absolutely, because again, depends on how talented the kid is.
But Dave, if I go into this league and I get $100,000, that right there, like you said, forfeits college and high school. And then say in the mid-season something happens and the entire league has to shut down. Now what? You have 100,000 and that's it.
Right. And now I go and train for the draft.
But
so that's all it is.
Okay, maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe I'm missing a piece. You have to go to the G League, or you have to be 1 year removed from college to go to the league, right?
Right. So at the age of 18,
right,
you at that point. So let's say the kid is 18. So basically 1 year removed from college. What they're saying is that you got to be 19 years old. Pretty much. That's what they're saying. Right. So at the age of 19, I'm able to be drafted. So if I'm 18 when this happens, let's say the league implodes, whatever the case may be.
We're here.
All right. Now I say, all right, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna just start training for the league. And now you can go to the G League if you're elite.
Yeah, I get
it. So that's why I was saying, like, if it depends on how talented the kid is, whether their chances are shot as far as the league is concerned. Because if it blows up in year 2, I'm 18 years old, that means I still got 1 more year that I need to play. I'm elite. Okay, I'll just go to the G League now. If I'm not elite, that's the piece. You see what I'm saying? Because if I'm not elite, now I need that $100,000 because now I need to go to school at least for a year, or I just take my talents overseas and I go contract somewhere. And if the next year presents itself to where I can go and I can play in the league, then I'm there.
Got it. Yeah, that's a tricky situation because I think we even said that 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be the elite of the elite playing in that league. So it's just sticky all the way around. I don't know. I wouldn't let my child risk it. We just gonna just take it by the college. So moving on to a different subject, the NCAA will be hosting. Let me not say the NCAA because I don't think it's the NCAA per se. But in the year 2022, CBS Sports will be partnering with HBCU All-Stars to air HBCU All-Star Game the Sunday of the Final Four in the hosting city in the year 2022. Now, I don't like it. I get it. I get it. I get it, and I see the vision. I see what they're trying to do, but like I told Dave, it gives me the feeling of when you're playing a video game and you want, to include your little brother or little sister, but you don't really want them to play, and you give them the remote control that's not hooked up, just to make them feel included. I feel like I feel bad for saying this, but it just feels like a backhanded compliment to me. It does. I don't like it. I feel like these kids are good enough to compete on a similar platform of PWIs. And I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's giving HBCUs like, I don't know. I don't like it.
So let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. If they were really good enough to compete on the same level, don't you think they would be at a PWI?
This is a horrible conversation, but it's a need. I get it. I do.
It is.
You're
very much
right.
is.
You're absolutely. So if that's the case,
it very much is.
Then you need to. I don't want to go where I'm saying with this because I don't even know if what I'm saying is right.
So here,
I haven't thought this out fully into what I want to say, because if that's the case, then there are so many other schools who deserve to be in that All-Star game too, because they couldn't get into PWIs. But I just feel like, I don't know. I just think there's a better. I don't know. I just don't like it. It just feels
so
like,
as I do, I have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings about this one too. But I think I was watching the show I Am Athlete with Brandon Marshall, Chad Ochocinco, them, Fred Taylor, like all those guys. Man, I was watching it, and they talked about the Rooney Rule, like in place to where like these NFL teams, they have to, basically all they're saying is you got to interview a black dude.
Yep.
And I think, and you know, I don't think this is kind of that, but it's very, very similar.
I get it.
Hey, let's get these black dudes something to do. Yeah, let's get these black kids something to do. And that's what it is. But like they were saying, do you take it as a backhanded compliment, or do you take the opportunity and you do something with it? So like that's the question. So like, do you take this opportunity, because it is an opportunity, as backhanded as it may be, it is an opportunity to showcase your talents on the biggest stage of college when it comes to that All-Star weekend or that Final Four weekend.
I don't know. Do you remember the conversation we had? It may have been two or three podcasts ago, where we were talking about, what were we talking about? And it slipped my mind that A&T, it was a podcast that we erased. Remember, and I forgot that A&T was a D1 school. And yeah. It kind of, I don't know. It makes it seem, it definitely makes it seem like there are levels to D1 schools, because if A&T and Carolina are on the same, they're both D1 schools, then why do, I don't know. I just don't like it.
So it's, again, it's to highlight the HBCU.
It is. I get it.
Like in totality, because all of these schools that you see on this list, and all of these players, some of them aren't even D1.
Yeah.
Winston-Salem State is a D2.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it is, again, it's an opportunity to highlight the HBCU. Now, again, is it backhanded? Absolutely. But again, it is an opportunity. So do we take advantage of the opportunity, or do we soak in it and be like, bro, why y'all trying to do this? And, so again, almost like the Rooney Rule. Yeah, you got to interview a black dude. We put it in play. We said you got to interview a black dude. Don't mean you got to hire him, though. You see what I'm saying? So, again, is it a backhanded compliment? Absolutely. Will we take pride in it? I think we should.
Absolutely.
I really do think we should. And I think, so here it is. You got the opportunity. Now make it big. That's simple. That's simple. Make it big.
Yeah, I just hope people actually tune in, and I hope in 2022, when COVID is COVID free, that they really make it a really big event. Like I really wanted to draw the basketball fan.
You know who got to tune in?
Who?
You know who got to tune in?
Who?
Us.
Oh. My mind went left, but you're absolutely right. That's what I'm saying. I want us full throttle. Like I want this to draw everybody. Like if you love basketball, I want everyone to tune in. I do, and I think it would be so much fun. I think this is in New Orleans. I could totally be wrong, but I think this will be in New Orleans. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see tailgates, cookouts, the whole nine, the bands marching. If
Absolutely.
this is going to be an HBCU All-Star Game, Sunday needs to be the HBCU experience. And if they do that and they don't give me my credit because I said it here first, and I'm going to be pissed off. But there needs to be a full HBCU experience that day in New Orleans on Sunday. Um, they need to have a black market. They need to call it Black Wall Street. And they
Listen,
need to have just
remember what the CIAA used to be here in North Carolina?
no. I didn't go
You
till I was
don't?
like I only went like 3 or 4 times when I was older. Because if you went to a PW,
Right.
yes,
But you remember what it was like.
yeah.
Right. But the only bad thing about CIAA weekend was nobody went to the freaking game.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we need that. We need CIAA in North Carolina. We need to take that to New Orleans.
Yeah.
But everybody go to the game too.
Yeah. Yeah. It needs
like, because again, we gotta make it huge. If we're gonna do it, let's do it to the grandest stage of them all. Let's do it as big as we can. Come together, support these coaches, support these kids, and blow it up every single year.
Yeah.
And so now the back-end compliment becomes two things. It becomes a money generator for some of these underprivileged HBCUs. Hopefully, I'm hoping that's what the NCAA is doing with this. This is an opportunity to fund some of these programs.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I hope. And then two, it'll bring more attention. So now, instead of only having one game on ESPN, hopefully now you get 3, 4, 5 games on ESPN. Some of these PWIs start to play HBCUs and bring them to their facilities. So now they get paid to come. They're able to fund their basketball programs from the money games that they get from these PWIs, instead of playing Joe Blow and them from down the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it a big deal, man. And then now these kids get seen. Now they have an opportunity to do what they probably wouldn't have been able to do before this. So again, make it a big deal.
Yeah, it says outside the game, there will be the HBCU All-Star Game experience, a week-long festival starting on Tuesday and concluding the Tuesday after the national championship game. The festival will celebrate Black culture, Black excellence, and Black history. So I hope
we need to have battle with the bands, all that.
Yeah. It really could be something special. And I just hope that it
could.
Yeah, I just don't want it to seem like HBCU kids aren't capable of competing on a higher level. That's my only thing. Like, don't make it seem like they're not capable. Like, these kids are very much as talented as, whomever. Just, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Not that I don't want to happen. I just want to make sure that, these kids can play too. Like, don't do that.
They can play too. They can play too. And as much as I am an HBCU rooter as well, you do have to understand there is levels to it though.
I know.
Like, there are levels to it.
I want equality for everybody.
Right.
I just want everybody to be in one happy bubble.
Yeah, I
know. Yeah. All right.
I know.
Well,
I'll let you live in your dream world.
So before we close out, I think it would be fun to kind of end it on the NBA All-Star Game, which is going on this weekend in Atlanta. KD and LeBron just drafted their roster. And LeBron, I'm going to tell you the people, and I want you to tell me who's going to win, all right? So LeBron has Kyrie, Stephen, Joel, Luka, Kawhi, Nikola, Bradley, and Jason. I'm lying to you. Totally did this wrong.
That team.
No. I did this wrong because they're doing it back and forth. So LeBron has Giannis, LeBron. I'm sorry. LeBron has Giannis, Stephen, Luka, Nikola, Damian, Ben, and Chris Paul. Now KD has Kyrie, Joel.
Yeah, because when you said Bron picked Kyrie, I was like,
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I looked at it too. That's how I knew I was wrong. So KD has Kyrie, Joel, Kawhi, Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, James Harden, Devin Booker, and Zion.
I probably gotta go with
I think I'm going with KD.
I'm probably what team was Chris Paul on?
Chris Paul is on LeBron's team. I'll say LeBron one more time.
Yeah, I think I gotta go with that squad.
LeBron has Stephen, Luka, Nikola, Damian, Ben, and Chris. I'm going with KD.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that.
Should be a good game.
I think I'm gonna go with Bron joint. Just because I think it will be. It will be. It always ends up being something special. So yeah, All-Star games are always fun. They don't really compete, but at the end of the day, it's a show for the fans. So and they'll probably have a few fans this time around. So I like it.
Atlanta's wide open.
I don't think they should have did one this year, but still, nonetheless.
I'm actually surprised Kyrie's playing, but it's funny that LeBron defeated Giannis last year, and that was his first pick on his team. So, yeah, pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is a wrap on today's episode. We do want to thank our amazing sponsors, Vito of My Canvas on Tees, and also
Vito.
Lamar of Our Lamar Clothing. We thank you guys very much for your continued support of our amazing podcast, The Player and the Fan. We're about to go on summer break too, because after this season, I ain't gotta talk to you no more till about September.
That ain't true. We're gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about over the summer. We're gonna talk about who's committed where, who's coming
football.
in.
You got football.
We got draft. We got a lot of stuff that we can. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff.
I'm just saying.
And speaking of, I have been. Let me say this real quick because, like, I know we've been screaming that the NCAA championship is going through Gonzaga or Baylor. But I got to give Michigan they props, bro.
They are number 2 now.
They are number 2 now. I got to give Michigan they props, man. Like, they are, and I think when that podcast came out, when I said that, I think Michigan was on pause. But that's why they kind of slipped through the cracks. But when they came off of that pause, bro, hey, they ain't play no games. I saw they lost. I felt like they was gonna lose against Illinois too, because Illinois is one of them teams that's real sneaky. Like, they really, really good. They really, really talented. And so that honestly, now them losing by 20 shocked me, but it didn't surprise me that Illinois went into Ann Arbor and knocked them off. But at the end of the day, like, Michigan, I got to give them their props, bro. Like, it's definitely a 3-4, maybe 5-team race for that national championship. And as long as none of them slip up and do nothing silly, get no injuries and nothing like that, mess around, COVID, Baylor, because they still legit.
Yep.
Even though they done lost Baylor, Gonzaga, Michigan.
So let me do the top 10.
That's it for me.
Because even if Carolina doesn't make it anywhere, I credit you for this for me, because I would have never have been excited to see the NCAA tournament without you telling me to get out of ACC basketball. But the top 10
Yeah.
AP top 25 for NCAA men's basketball is Gonzaga, Michigan, Baylor, Illinois, Iowa, West Virginia, Ohio State, Alabama, Houston, and Villanova. That top five is, I'm excited to see that top five.
Listen, Houston, a problem. West Virginia, a problem. These are all teams that could absolutely make a run for the NCAA championship. Like I've been a fan of Houston for the last 3 years, probably ever since Coach Sampson got there. Like I've been a fan, and it's been absolutely fun to watch them play. But when you talk about Gonzaga, when you talk about Michigan, when you talk about Baylor, when you talk about Illinois, even Alabama, like Alabama they've been hooping, man. They've been hooping, but West Virginia, Iowa still has a real shot. Like, because when you got the best player in the world, you got the shooting that they got. Like they 7 games, like them losing 7 games is a shock to me. I'm still a huge fan of Florida State because of how versatile they are. Mm-hmm. Like it has opened up quite a bit, and as you know, the NCAA tournament can be so like shocking.
Yeah.
Like it's a toss up. It's a toss up every single year. So like I know Gonzaga is going into this thing undefeated, but they look really, really good this year. Like we might be on the verge of seeing a perfect season. Or them getting to the national championship game and getting knocked off. Like it'll suck like Kentucky getting to the Final Four and losing, but hey, I'm excited for this NCAA tournament.
Right. But before we go, this is something I didn't preface you with before the show, because it just popped in my mind as soon as I saw Creighton down there at number 14. I want to get your opinion. Did you hear what the Creighton's coach said to his team? Okay, let me update you.
I didn't, and I think I just saw something about it, but I didn't see it.
So after their loss to Xavier, Coach Greg McDermott said, guys, we got to stick together. We need both feet in. I need everybody to stay on the plantation. I can't have anybody leave the plantation.
That's for real.
Yeah, and he said he's never used that analogy before. I've never heard anyone use that analogy before. You have to stay on the plantation. He did offer to resign, but he said that that's not what they wanted. But yeah.
I'll say this. I think that's an honest mistake.
Okay.
I do. That's an honest mistake. And I know in a time where we are so like race driven right now, like you either with us or you against us kind of deal. So when you do make comments like that, it is very easy to be like, oh, this no, he didn't. But I really do think that's probably an honest mistake. To use the word plantation in that's tough. That's tough though. That's tough because as the head coach, as the leader, you always have to be careful of what you say. So, but as much as I'm glad that he, offered to resign, I'm also probably glad that they didn't take it. But at the end of the day, you're allowed to make a mistake. That's a huge one, just because of the times that we're in. But I don't think he's that kind of guy. Because as a coach, you're looking for things, especially after a loss. You're looking for things to say to your players to keep them motivated, to keep them engaged, to keep them in the winning mentality, so to speak. And so sometimes things may come out in a way that you don't mean it. And so I don't think he meant anything by that. But the fact that he said plantation and the fact that his team has some black players on it, it just don't sit right. It just don't sit right. So I'm gonna give him a pass on this one. Not necessarily a pass, but I don't think he should be fired. I'll say that. I don't think he should be fired.
Okay.
I feel like you have a completely different view than that.
I just don't know. I've never in my life have heard nor even thought to compare anything, and maybe it's because I'm Black, but to compare anything I'm doing to being on a plantation. I actually get uncomfortable when I see things still named the Plantation Square. We have that somewhere in Raleigh, Durham. There's a Plantation Square somewhere. Or, they still call certain areas a plantation. It just doesn't sit right in my spirit. And maybe that's just me. But we have to stay on the plantation, or I can't have you leaving the plantation. Just, he could have used court, he could have used stadium, he could have used arena, could have used complex, could have used the building. It's just a lot of other phrases were available other than plantation. And I don't know, that's not even a word that you think of naturally. Like, you still think of plantation for fun and games. But I don't know Coach McDermott. He's been there for 11 years. And obviously, if his players don't want him to leave, that says something about who he is to that team and what he's brought. So who am I to say? But I do think it's very off-putting. And if I'm a parent of any of those kids, I'm definitely keeping better tabs, if not, a very watchful, close eye of that program and how he interacts with my child going forward. But that's just me.
I don't know. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. And here's why. So I just looked up the meaning of what a plantation is. A plantation is an estate on which crops such as coffee, sugar, tobacco are cultivated by resident labor. And then it's also saying it's an area in which trees have been planted, especially for commercial purposes. So, like, the definition of it is just it's an area where things grow. Now, as slaves, Black people, they were put out there to work the plantation. You see what I'm saying? So as I understand, trust me, I get where you're coming from, but we can't crucify a man
I'm not
because he makes a mistake.
I'm not crucifying. I just think that there's, as a coach, as anybody in a professional setting where you are overseeing, or you are above, people of color, you have to be mindful of the things you say. I don't care if you're in the heat of the moment or whatever. That's why you're hired, because you have a sense of professionalism to be every single day you're around these people, and you have to uphold that. I mean, you just have to be more mindful. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think he was, going around calling him the N-word. But
right.
I do think that if you're going to be in a position of power, you have to be mindful of the people that you're directing, especially young Black kids who looked up to you for more than just a coach. You're a mentor. You're, to some, a father figure. Like, just be mindful. That's all for me. Just
And I'm sure he was. It's again at that particular time, and I don't know if he issued an apology like right away. Like I don't even know. My thing would be like if you say something like that and you catch it like, ah man, I ain't mean to say plantation, but you know, like, but at the I just don't think again moment in the heat of the moment after your team loses a game and all that kind of stuff. Trust me, I'll put it this way: I guarantee that ain't the worst thing that he's ever said to them. I guarantee.
You're right. You're right.
Just simply because you are a coach, you are a leader of men, and so there are certain buttons that you may have to push in order to get out of these players what their potential is. And so again, for me, I'm as much as I am pro-Black and yeah, we gotta uplift our kids, uplift our community, and we gotta be better. I don't necessarily think that every little thing that people say needs to be looked at with a microscope. I don't think we need to go back through this man's life and be like, oh, did he say anything else that was borderline? It doesn't need to be that. I think the fact that he said, you know what, I'll resign because I do understand how sensitive what I said is at this particular moment. And the fact that the kids didn't accept it, I guess the university didn't accept it. And the fact that they are moving on, it says a lot about him, man.
Yeah.
It says a lot about him. And so I think that's what we have to go with. I don't think that we as the media, now the media is going to run with it because that's just what the media does. The media is going to blow it out of proportion. They're going to run it and run it and run it and make it a story longer than it really needs to be. But at the end of the day, he made a mistake. Let's let it be that. Yeah. And he apologized for it. But now I don't think he needs to be under a microscope because, you know, he said, y'all better not leave this plantation.
See, that's the problem. No, I stand by my comment. I don't think that he should resign. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think he was being racist or anything like that. But as a parent, you gonna get the side eye, and I'm gonna watch what you say going forward. I'm gonna stand by that. And I don't know now.
I'm with you. You the mama.
You doggone right.
You the mama. The mama definitely gonna look at him sideways, like, I know you better not be saying that crazy, my baby. The daddy will be the more sensible one and be like, look, he made a mistake.
Wow.
Let's just let it be what it is. Now, if he do it again, you know, fool me once. Shame on
you.
Fool me can't fool me again.
Fool me can't, fool me can't.
No, I just hit you with the George Bush. Fool me can't fool me again.
That is a term of this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, and that is.
I knew it. I already knew.
I'm gonna go ahead and write that down so I ain't gotta text you. What was that you said again? Fool me can't fool me again.
Absolutely.
Fool me can't fool me again. All right, that's a wrap. I'm done.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we already shouted out our sponsors. We're going to do it again. Shout out to Vito for my cameras on T. Shout out to all Lamar. Hey, we so appreciate y'all, good people. You know what it is. We holla.